recruiting, we hinted at some of this stuff maybe coming to fruition and coming to pass last week, and want to talk about it, and then we'll move on and wrap up for the day. But Tramell Jones, Florida State quarterback commit, did end up decommitting again after we recorded last week. I think it was like midweek or so. All signs point to him ending up at UF. That's a player that was committed and ended up flirting with UF a ton during the spring and summer. Florida State did get him to shut down his recruitment. He told multiple people about how loyal he was and how he was locked in with Florida State. I've been told he never stopped communicating with UF. And in fact, I'll say it. I reached out to FSU and told them that I was hearing that he was still communicating with UF past that. And they obviously took the kid at his word, and you probably need to be careful doing that. Maybe that, again, is just kind of writing on the wall for what this staff has been. But never stop communicating with UF, and I know the season hasn't gone the way we wanted. Maybe if you're 8-4 or have a better record, maybe this doesn't happen, but I think it was going to happen one way or the other. I think that this kid really wanted to end up at UF because of just multiple things. I think that they're paying a little bit more than Florida State was willing to offer. Because they value him a little bit higher, that's fine. But something that I think Florida State should have read the writing on the wall a little bit better. They didn't, and again, that probably sums up them as recruiters, just in general. But he decommits. Looks like he's going to go to UF, and Florida State though may backfill that position with Carter Smith out of Bishop Vero, a kid that is a little more highly rated than Tramell Jones, so it might work out in Florida State's favor. For what it's worth. Don't know that Carter's an elite kid that's going to, come in and start right away or anything like that. He's going to need some time, but is slightly better rated. So again, might work out for Florida State, but just kind of par for the course. And of course, flipping to your biggest rival, who the coach came into the year on the hot seat, looks like he is not going to get fired after they look to be going to a bowl. Par for the course, I suppose, at this point with Florida State recruiting.
Yeah, and we're Florida State, the 247 composite, they're number 43 in the country. I don't expect it to get a whole lot better. They're going to fill the class up with a bunch of kids. But the problem with what's happening now, where you're losing these recruits who you had relationships with, some of them for 3-4 years at this point, and they're flipping. And to your point, TJ, it's better that it happened now than signing day, because signing day has been so disappointing the past, really ever since Mike got here, because he was certain that either a commit was going to sign or an uncommitted guy was going to commit to Florida State and sign with Florida State with multiple players. They just, for whatever reason, maybe they're too trusting, they just cannot read the room when it comes to these high school kids. Travis Hunter was the most loyal player ever, probably going to win the Heisman Trophy this year, and he should. And he had no idea what was happening. He was blindsided by that flip. And even he dismissed the idea of when Travis Hunter took that official visit to Jackson State as like saying, it was a courtesy visit. I'm sure Deion was in his ear, and obviously, there was some NIL stuff going on as well. But it just seems like this coaching staff cannot read the room when it comes to these commits or recruits. And now, you're getting to the point in the recruiting cycle where you're going to have to fill it with 3-star projects and hope they work out. You're going to have to go heavy in the portal, which we've seen it can work out, but it can also be a disaster. And the highly recruited kids left that, the Bamas and Ohio States and Georgias, they're kind of like would not take their recruitment. There's a reason or commitment. There's a reason they wouldn't take their commitment. And you need to find out what that reason is right away. And you have a lot less time to figure that out now. It's just a unmitigated disaster, and it will continue to be so. As upsetting as the season has been, I think this might be, maybe not because it won't be a surprise, but the signing day is going to be ugly in December.
Before I go too much farther, I will give some love to our friends over at the Mango Board. The National Mango Board has been a great partner for us this season. I know things have not been happy on the field, but I'm very happy with the work that they do, not only supporting us, but supporting Florida State athletics. The next time you're at your local grocer, we'll make this quick. Make sure you grab a couple of mangoes. Tag us on social media if you do pick some up. Listen, I know you're in a bad mood about the season. You can't be in a bad mood while you're eating a mango. Make sure you get a couple. Your kids are going to eat them up. I don't even really get a couple of bites before my kids have taken all of it away from me. Appreciate the Mango Board for their support. Again, in a season that's not been super thrilling, I am thrilled about our partnership with the National Mango Board and their support of not only us, but Florida State's athletics. Yeah, I don't anticipate it being very good. Again, yeah, Florida State's recruiting staff, can't read the room, and again, they were told, I believe not just by me, but they were told by multiple people that the kid wasn't as locked in as he said he was, and they just pretty blindly ignored that. Hopefully, they can land Carter Smith. I don't think that's a done deal, though. We have gotten a few predictions for him. Hopefully they can land him to kind of rebound there. Solomon Thomas, your highest rated recruit, visited UF over the weekend. Obviously an afternoon game that ends under the lights in the Swamp, where they upset a ranked team and win in pretty convincing fashion against LSU. Probably doesn't help your odds there. I'd be pretty surprised if you signed Solomon Thomas at this point. He did say all the right things when it came to the firing of Alex Atkins, who he was very close with, but I'd be pretty surprised if you signed him. That'll hurt your class for sure. Chase Lofton looks tight end commit. Looks like he's likely headed to Nebraska. That's, again, not a done deal, but looks to be trending that way. And then Kevin Wynn, a defensive lineman that you really can't afford to lose. I don't feel great about that one either, but we'll see. We'll kind of see what happens with that one. I think you could lose. That's 3 of your higher rated commits at very much positions of need. Tight end, maybe not as much, but certainly.
TJ. Solomon Thomas, 95 prospect rating. Kevin Wynn, 95 prospect rating. Next highest rated prospect is 91. So that's 2 of your your 2 highest commits.
Yeah, you're really elite commits. I think the Lofton thing probably won't kill you. You really like Amari Williams and Landon Thomas if you can keep them on the roster when the portal opens up. But two other guys that positions of need that you just cannot afford to lose, and you likely will. This will be Richie. It would surprise me. We were talking with Newberg about it the other day, like doing a Spaces every Wednesday up until signing day, and then doing one on signing day. This will be the worst and most lowest. Like, this will be the lowest rated class, unless just some real shockers happen. You keep Thomas, you keep Wynn, you pull a couple of 3 stars in to help mitigate the loss, and then you get Carter Smith will help your class out a little bit if you can pull him. This class is probably going to finish, if it goes like I think it will. I would be surprised if this class finishes in the top 40. And I think it's got a chance to be down in the 50s. I just think that with the turnover you're going to have, like if you're Norvell, we expect more coaching changes. Do you fire coaches the day after Florida, that Sunday, and then lose more guys? Now, I will say that with kind of the new era of college football, guys may sign on that Wednesday, and then if their coach leaves to come to Florida State, they'll ask out of their NLI, and they will be let out of it, in my opinion, just kind of like happened with Bama last year. If guys want to leave, they will, because there's no sense in keeping them on your roster up until the spring window and then them just transferring then. So I do think that there's some chance you could pick up a guy or 2 or 3 based on other coaches coming in, even if other hires are not announced until after signing day. I think you could potentially flip some guys, but I don't think you're a stone cold lock to do it. I don't think it's like, oh, we got this coach, we're automatically getting it. And then we talked earlier, what coaches are you really bringing in that's going to flip like a big time prospect, right? Like, are you bringing in a Brian Hartline that's going to flip a 5-star? Probably not, right? So, yeah, if you bring in the UNLV OC, do you maybe flip a couple of guys off their commit list? Yeah, maybe. It's Florida State, though. Like, you're flipping guys off of UNLV's commit list. I don't know how much that's helping. And so, for Mike to turn this thing around, Richie, we've talked about it's got to be, got to get better coaches in, got to get better talent in, got to get better players in. And it doesn't seem like you're going to be able to get better talent in immediately, right? You're going to have to go back to the portal. You're going to have to live in the portal again this year, because you got to cover. Newberg used to talk about paying, paycheck to paycheck. I've mentioned him now 6 times on this show, but living paycheck to paycheck. Well, the bills are going to be due just to literally fill out a roster, just to get to 85 guys, because you're going to have some guys leaving, you're going to have some guys out of eligibility, and you're going to have some guys graduating, and you're not signing a very big high school class, and so you're going to need to live in the portal just to fill out an 85-man roster this year. And so with that considered, this is going to be, I'm not going to guarantee this, but this class could finish in the 50s. I think it'll be in the 40s is kind of my guess as of right now, but this is going to be the worst recruiting class, I think, in Florida State history, like since they've been doing recruiting rankings, which is not great.
Yeah, no, it's unacceptable. And you can say, well, what do you expect from a 1-9 team? Well, how did you get to 1-9? This staff
Yeah.
is what got you to 1-9. Your previous recruiting is what got you to 1-9 because you failed to establish a core high school recruiting program. Yes, portal guys will always be necessary, but it should be, in my opinion, more like 75-25, 80-20, 85-15, all in favor of getting high school guys on campus, get them developed, let them live the culture for multiple years. I go back to one of our original transfers back in the day, Everett Golson. He quit on the team because he was a guy that was brought in for 1 year. He thought Florida State was going to be able to play for a national championship. And when he realized that we had 2 losses and we had to play Houston in that bowl game, he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm out of here. That's for a 1-year player, it's easy to have that mentality. Now, sure, you might get a guy who just comes in like a Jermaine Johnson, right? He's the unicorn, though. You're not going to find many of those at any position who still bleeds garnet and gold to this day. You need to establish a high school recruiting, and what this class is going to look like this year, even TJ, once you look at the combined rankings of transfers and recruiting, are you even in the top 30? Are you in the top 25?
Yeah, from transfers, maybe just because you're going to take so many guys.
Going to be like Dion's
Sheer
first year at
numbers.
Colorado.
Yeah. Oh, it will be. I think they might have to take 30 guys from the portal.
Yeah, an entire high school class worth of kids just from the portal in one
Yeah,
year.
just to get to 85. Like, I mean, you think about it. Like, think about how many guys are gone, right? Like, I don't expect Ezra Thomas is gone. I mean, I don't have time to go through all of them.
Yeah.
But you're going to lose 2 quarterbacks. You're going to lose 3 defensive linemen. You're going to lose 3 defensive backs that are just out of eligibility. Like, you're losing guys out of eligibility. And you're only signing, 10, 11, 15 guys at max? Like, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to live in the portal. Like, it's going to be really hard to see a way that you don't. And I know you've got to start to turn that around. But I mean, 25 is cooked. Like, that class you're not making enough inroads there.
No.
You didn't do the work that you needed to do. I mean, we were talking in the summer about how small the class was. Now, at that time, you had 10 or 11 guys that were all blue chips. And you're like, well, we can do quality over quantity. And you had a pretty good class locked in, 12 guys or so that are all blue chip recruits that can make a difference. Like, yeah, that's not terrible. You finish with 3 or 4 more, you get to 5, 15, 16 really good recruits. Maybe you take 3 or 4 more kind of flyers, and then you're not having to live in the portal as much. But yeah, with how many guys you're going to have to purge off this roster, how many guys are going to just leave because they want a better opportunity, and how many guys are out of eligibility. Yeah, you're going to have to get at least 30 guys from the portal. I'd be shocked if it was any less. So yeah, it is Colorado 2.0 when it comes to that. And so, we'll see if we can have that kind of success or not.